So I'm out here by the greenhouse. This is the first warm day it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be up to almost 45 today. Hopefully a lot of the snow's gonna melt, but I think a lot of our trees are gonna start pushing out some sap. So we'll be sap collecting today. But I need to get a few of these totes down into the woods and get them in position because that's yet to be on the list. And I still gotta clean them out. So I just got this one pretty well cleaned. Looks pretty good inside. So now I just got to do the other one. I'm using some good hot water that's being produced by the boiler because the same line, the water line, runs next to the greenhouse line, and it puts out hot water in the greenhouse in the wintertime. So I'll get this one all cleaned up, and then yeah, we'll get these things down in the woods. So I just finished getting all the tanks cleaned. I used a little bit of bleach, 10%, and just splashed it in there a little bit, and then rinsed it out and scrubbed it really well, and then rinsed it out again. So they are really clean. They don't even smell like bleach anymore, so that's good. I'll let them air out, and then I'll probably rinse them out one more time, and then we'll put them out in the woods. So I got the tote all loaded up. I'm gonna go down into the woods and put it in place. I think I got a spot picked out for it. But yeah, then we'll get some of the lines hooked up and start, I guess, collecting some sap, right? Sap time. So I got the excavator out here. I'm about to lift the smaller Smoky Lakes Evaporator out of the shop. I got it all set up. So I'll just pick it up from this point here, and we'll bring it over to the greenhouse and start getting it hooked up and in place. This is all temporary right now until we actually build the sugar house and get all that set up officially. But that won't be until probably late summer that we have most of it completed and put together. So this season we'll just use what we got, which is the greenhouse, which isn't full of plants yet. So that's the plan. Try to use this dolly. So what we'll do is this window here swings, but I'll probably end up taking it off of the hinges temporarily, and then we'll put a piece of concrete board over this, some hardy board, and we'll plumb in our smokestack and then our steam stack right through the window. And then we'll put a little drum up there for our gravity feed for our concentrate right into our evaporator. That'll be our temporary setup. So now that we got our 2x6 evaporator in here, our Smoky Lakes evaporator, I'm going to do a couple of things on here to get it ready to actually add the pans on. I got some of this fire retardant tape. This stuff goes around the perimeter to kind of gasket off your pans so that there's no smoke and no heat getting out. So everything is, all the heat is being directed right at your pans to boil. The stuff that came with it was pretty ratty and probably should have been replaced a long time ago. So this stuff wasn't too bad. I think it was only like 65 or 75 bucks for a roll. And you just, it's almost like a fiberglass tape. You just lay it along, just like this. It's not sticky or anything, but they do just call it tape. So that part's done. So I just fixed up some of these bricks that were loose. This top row was loose and these had some cracks in it. I'm gonna go ahead and re-brick it probably next year or later this summer, I don't know. But this is good enough for right now. The cement here came with the evaporator when I bought it. So I figured might as well use it. It was already half used. So yeah, the next step would be to put some play sand back in this area over this fabric. I'm probably going to do about 1 inch of play sand back there. That'll help with heat retention. And then we'll be able to put our pans in place and start getting them cleaned up. So we just brought the pan in, Kristen and I, and now we're gonna flip it over and get it nestled down into the ark. Ready?
Yeah.
Bring it around. So I just got this all cleaned up and put a little Teflon tape on this part here, and then this part will get fastened together. This is the float box, so this allows the sap into this part of the evaporator, and then this will heat up and then flow into this chamber, and then from there it goes into the finishing portion, the finishing pan, and then it flows out into your filter. This is the steam hood. Now we're all ready to go ahead and get it in place. Good?
Yeah.
That'll work for now. It's just a temporary setup for the maple season, and then we'll take it down once the season's over. But yeah, that should vent out nicely for our exhaust for our chimney. So I'm down in the woods right now collecting some sap. Got the buggy here, got some containers I'm going to be filling up. Put a little bit in this one already. But this is just our temporary setup for collecting sap. Once we have the sugar bush established, which we should have about 3,000 taps through these woods, we'll have a pump, be able to pump from the bottom of the mountain up about midway up the property, to a stationary tank, and then from there, pump from there up to our sugar shack. That might be the setup that we go with, but we're still designing it. So I have this little unit that I bought and modified. I put a little strainer on it, but this actually takes a Makita battery in the back. And it pumps actually really quickly. So I'm gonna transfer the sap right into these totes and take it up to the shop where we'll dump it into our bulk tank. So I did buy the fittings to go onto the bottom of here so I can go ahead and gravity feed instead of pump. So I plan on parking down there and being able just to hook a hose up and have it gravity feed right into the back of the containers on the RTV. But at the moment, this is what I got going on. This sediment filter works pretty good. It's easy change out. And this pump actually pumps really, really quick. So we're just gonna use that for probably this week and change it up next week. Just something a little better. So as you can see, it's flowing pretty fast. It's windy out today. We are getting this tank unloaded. This little guy here, it's about a 40-gallon tank. Pre-running it through the filter, bringing it down and over to our sap tank, our big bulk tank. About an 800-gallon tank. Probably got a few hundred gallons in it already. So right now we are doing a rinse cycle on our RO. We're running some water through it, getting it ready for processing some sap. So we have between 300 and 400 gallons outside in our tank. So right now we just have some water going in, and it's going out into our permeate tank. Back there is going to be our concentrate tank. So this probably has another like 8 to 10 minutes left on the cycle. And then once that's done, we'll hook our lines up and start running some sap through it and seeing how it goes. So right now we have our machine running. We just started getting the sap ran through it. We did one pass and we're just getting things figured out. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the turbine on now. This is gonna be a quick run. We've already got the sap sugar content up to 6.8. We're drawing off this side here. Once this is ran through, we're just gonna run it for a couple of minutes. It's running down to this tank down here. Then we'll turn it off. So our last reading was 6.8. We're gonna try this reading now after we did another pass. I'm gonna zero this out. Okay, 6.8 still. All right, well that's good. Wonder what the bulk of it is actually. Of this, all the concentrate down there. We're gonna pull what we got out of the system and run it tonight. First light of the season.
It's a fire!
Got our tank up there, drawing into the evaporator pan. We got our little fire right here getting started.
It makes me cool.
So we are boiling right now. This thing is cruising at the moment. Full boil. So we got about probably 25, 30 gallons in there at the moment. Still got about 5 gallons left in the tote. We had 35 gallons of concentrate at about 7.5 bricks. But I'm pretty impressed with this arc and how well it is cruising at the moment. There's a firebox blasting. That thing is hot. Walking outside, you can see all the steam coming off the side. Making clouds. But it's a snowy, windy night up here right now. Happy to be doing this indoors, not outside, that's for sure. I put that's the boiler at night over there. I put the light on so that we can see when we walk back and forth to the house. Probably get a better shot of how the greenhouse looks. All the windows are a little foggy. Looks pretty cool at night, I'll tell you that. It's now our greenhouse sugar shack for this season. First boil 2025. So it is the next morning. We ended up finishing the boil last night around 12:30, 1 o'clock, a lot later than we anticipated boiling for. Had a couple little hiccups here and there, just getting used to how hot that evaporator gets. But we have 2 pots here. We're just finishing off. We drew this off, but it wasn't to the right consistency yet. So we're just gonna finish it off in here. We should probably get maybe 3 gallons, 2.5 gallons. So amongst the chaos in the kitchen, we brought our wood stove firewood holder that normally sits next to our fireplace, and we rigged it up to hold our strainer. Little temporary setup. We got these little hooks I had downstairs that are for the holding up like a fluorescent light or whatever. But I just put 4 of those on there, and then we'll go ahead and pour our syrup through here and let it strain. We are down to 1 pot now. It's just down to this. So on the first night of boiling, we had one major issue, and that was we couldn't tell the froth level in the front part of the pan. With having the hood on, it's pretty dark in there, and if you don't have the proper lighting, you're not going to be able to catch it with having steam billowing out the side. So we just had this one area right here where it started to scorch. So we ended up having to discard the syrup that was in the front part of the finishing pan. We were able to draw some off that appeared to be good, and we did process that out. We did get a little bit less than a gallon out of that, but this was a test run. So this next run later this week, we're gonna have this pan all cleaned back up again, and I have my automatic draw off that I'm going to put on the side of here, and that draw off is from that larger CDL evaporator that we bought. So we're going to get that dialed in, and we'll be able to monitor this thing a lot better. So that is going to be our upgrades for this next week's boil. So that about sums it up on this video. We will do a start to finish making syrup on this evaporator coming up soon. But if you like the video, please thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.